Now, when you sell any kind of product in your Shopify store, you want to make sure that the products that you sell actually are not trademarked in any way. So in order to check that, there are actually two platforms which I would recommend for you. Now, I don't give you any legal advice right here, but this is just, something I would do before I would start selling my products. Now, for instance, if you look for a name for your website, or if you look for, let's say, a name of the product, always make sure that you look right here for whether this name is already taken or not. So if you say, well, I'm gonna name my novel Game of Thrones, there is already a novel called Game of Thrones. And if you say, well, I'm going to call my company Google, well, there is already a company called Google. You cannot call your company Google. And let's say you want to use a important slogan. You want to use a slogan like Make America Great Again or something like that. Of course, this is already taken. Or if you want to name your company Coca-Cola, or if you want to, for instance, call yourself not Lady Gaga, but Lady Gugu, check whether this is protected or not. Because actually, and this is, a funny thing that I encountered a couple of weeks ago, actually, you cannot take Lady Gugu because it is too close to the actual name Lady Gaga. So you sometimes have to be a little bit careful there, and I always would stick with products that don't have any special brand name. So you don't want to, for instance, sell products that are called something with Game of Thrones or, Captain America or something like that, because there are many products which are branded for that. So for instance, they have the design of Game of Thrones, they have the design of Captain America or something like that. You don't want to sell those. Believe me, you don't want to sell those. You don't want to, have any, kind of dispute with the company that is actually selling those, or at least owns the design. So for instance, right here on this platform, which is www.vipo.ent/branddb/en/, and this is basically where it will bring you. And right here you can type in, for instance, let's say Google. You want to see whether there's a company called Google, and as you can see, all right, there is the brand Google, Google Allo, Google Duo, Google Developers Launchpad, Google Fit, Google Jump, Google Cardboard, Google Chromebook, Google Keep, Google Nexus, and so on and so on. Basically, we have 33 pages right here, just brands that are connected with Google and all of these different places where they were registered. For instance, this one was the application date, and we have applications going back to 2005. For instance, this one for Google Incorporated made this application in 2005. Let's see if there's an application that is even older, perhaps. But all of these are brands that are connected with Google, so you should, of course, not name your website or name your product something with Google. Also, for instance, if you go for, let's say, Game of Thrones, what you're going to see is that, of course, you cannot use that. So actually, let's type that in. Okay, it's not in here. You probably need to look for the company in this case. But if you want to look for the company in another platform, I can recommend you this one, Company Check. So if you, for instance, look for Google, it will actually give you the results, so Google Limited, and then you can click here on View and you will get more information about it. So also you can, of course, check for certain countries. You can check over here for all different terms, liabilities, net worth, fixed assets, and so on and so on. Let's actually go with a random name. Let's see if there's a company called Gugu, something weird. Let's see if there's a company called that. Yes, there is. Google Limited, 150 Kingshire Meadows, Maidstone, ME16. This seems to be like a British company, I think. And there's definitely a company, Google Beauty, Google Fashion, Google Solutions Limited, Google Ltd. So you have to figure out, okay, is this company actually selling anything? Do they have, a slogan or something like that? Just do a little bit of research, figure out what is the company doing. And if you see, all right, something is trademarked, for instance, visit their website. And if you see something is trademarked, then definitely don't use that name. I would always go with a name that is very much what the product is. So for instance, when you look for a domain name, look for smartphone.com, because no one has a trademark on the word smartphone. Or for instance, go with, let's say, when you sell a boyfriend pillow, boyfriendpillow.com. No one has a trademark on the name boyfriend pillow. So when you look, for instance, for a domain name, when you look for a name for your product, you always want to make sure that the name is very close to the actual thing that it is, to the actual object, because the object can never be trademarked. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see each other in the next video.